Have you ever wondered why, after years of faithfully hitting those 10,000 steps a day, you're still struggling to stand up from a low chair without pushing off the armrests? Or why carrying a bag of groceries feels heavier than it used to, leaving you worried about losing your independence as the years go by? What if the advice you've heard from doctors, magazines, and even loved ones, that walking alone is enough to stay strong after 60, has been holding you back from the real solution that could rebuild your muscle and confidence? And imagine if something as simple as exercises you can do right from your favorite chair could reverse the hidden muscle loss that's quietly stealing your strength, making everyday tasks harder and increasing your risk of falls or frailty? The truth is, you've been told walking builds all the strength you need in your senior years. But groundbreaking research shows that's not the full story. Studies on older adults reveal that targeted seated resistance movements deliver far greater gains in functional strength, helping you lift grandchildren, climb stairs, or get out of bed with ease. While walking alone often falls short against the relentless muscle decline known as sarcopenia that can rob up to 30 to 50% of your power by age 70. If left unchecked, this invisible thief starts accelerating after 60, turning simple activities into exhausting struggles and heightening fears of dependence or injury. But the exciting news orthopedic experts are now sharing is that specific chair-based exercises can not only halt this loss but actually build muscle back. With one major review showing chair exercises significantly boosting physical function and mobility in limited seniors, and resistance training proving superior for combating sarcopenia compared to cardio like walking alone. Even more thrilling, recent findings highlight how these seated moves improve balance, reduce fall risk dramatically, and enhance daily independence far better than steps alone. Yet the walking hype from fitness trackers and shoe companies has overshadowed this for years, leaving many seniors vulnerable when strength training is what truly protects your freedom. And the most powerful part, the number one chair exercise we'll reveal at the end has been linked to remarkable improvements in bone health and functional power, with surgeons prescribing it to patients for faster recovery and stronger outcomes because it targets exactly what aging attacks most. But before we dive into these life-changing moves, starting with number 5, quickly drop in the comments your age and where you're watching from. We read and heart every single one to build this community of stronger seniors. Now, let's get started and reclaim the vitality you deserve. And this one might surprise you the most because it's the exercise nearly everyone overlooks, yet ignoring it could be quietly costing you your comfort, mobility, and even putting your health at serious risk as you age. Number 5 is seated calf raises, a deceptively simple move that targets the hidden powerhouse in your lower legs responsible for something experts call your body's second heart. To do this correctly and safely, sit tall in a sturdy chair with feet flat on the floor, knees at about 90 degrees, press through the balls of your feet to lift your heels as high as possible. Hold that peak squeeze for 2 full seconds, feeling the burn in your calves, then lower slowly over 3 to 4 seconds, because that controlled eccentric phase builds muscle and pump efficiency even more effectively. If you're starting out, aim for 15 smooth repetitions, building to 3 sets of 20 to 25. Once it feels easier, add gentle resistance like a heavy book or water bottles on your thighs to accelerate progress without straining joints. Orthopedic experts particularly recommend this for seniors because it places zero stress on hips or knees, can be done multiple times daily even while watching TV, and users often report noticeably less leg swelling, lighter steps, and reduced fatigue in just 10 to 14 days when consistent. Imagine reclaiming that spring in your step and peace of mind knowing you're actively protecting against those circulation fears. Stick with this foundational move and feel the difference before we move to number 4. Which tackles the muscle determining if stairs or standing from low seats stay easy or become a daily battle. Now let's move to number 4, an exercise that directly attacks the muscle group determining whether you can still confidently climb stairs without pausing for breath, get in and out of the car without that awkward struggle, or even stand up from the toilet safely and independently. Your quadriceps, the powerful muscles on the front of your thighs that weaken faster than almost any other group after age 60. Turning everyday movements into exhausting challenges and dramatically raising your risk of painful falls or loss of freedom that no senior wants to face. Have you started noticing how stairs feel steeper, low seats harder to rise from, or your legs giving way more easily, leaving you anxious about slipping into dependence or injury when simple tasks used to be effortless? The reassuring truth emerging from recent research is that quadriceps weakness is one of the strongest predictors of functional decline, mobility issues, and fall risk in older adults, with studies showing weak quads linked to poor balance, slower gait, and higher chances of devastating falls that can change life overnight. Yet targeted seated knee extensions can isolate and rebuild these critical muscles far more effectively than walking alone, where flat ground steps barely activate the quads against meaningful resistance, allowing them to shrink unchecked while sarcopenia accelerates the loss. Clinical findings confirm that resistance exercises like seated extensions significantly improve knee extension strength, enhance physical function, reduce fall predictors, and even support knee stability in those with osteoarthritis by acting as natural shock absorbers, delivering gains in strength and daily ease that walking often fails to provide. With low-intensity versions proven effective and joint-friendly for community-dwelling seniors. To perform this safely and powerfully, sit tall in your sturdy chair with back supported, feet flat on the floor, and grip the sides for stability. Now straighten one leg out in front of you until your knee is fully locked, toes pointing up toward the ceiling, then squeeze your thigh muscle as hard as possible for 3 full seconds, feeling that intense burn in the front of your leg like you're trying to make the quad bulge. Slowly lower your foot back down over 4 seconds without letting it drop. Control is key for maximum muscle building. Then switch legs and repeat, aiming for 12 smooth reps per side if starting out, resting briefly before 2 more sets. The magic happens in that hard top squeeze and slow lower, which research shows boosts activation and strength gains up to 30% more when you mentally focus on contracting the muscle intensely rather than just moving the leg. Once body weight feels manageable, add light ankle weights starting at 1 to 2 pounds or loop a resistance band for progression without overloading joints. Orthopedic specialists often prescribe this exact move because strong quads protect against arthritis progression, ease knee stress with every step, and restore the confident mobility many fear is gone forever. Stick with it consistently and watch how stairs, chairs, and daily life feel lighter and safer in weeks. Reclaiming control before we reveal number 3. The surprising exercise targeting the hidden weakness behind so many senior trips and falls that steal independence in an instant. And if swollen legs, aching knees, or that growing worry about losing your strength and independence have resonated with you so far, pause for just a second and hit that like button right now. It takes less than a second and helps this vital message reach more seniors just like you who've been told walking is enough but are still struggling every day. While you're there, tap subscribe and ring the bell because we're releasing powerful, surgeon-backed senior health tips, and you won't want to miss the next one. We're now approaching the exercises that orthopedic specialists consider absolutely essential for staying safe and independent on your feet. Number 3 is seated hip marches, the surprisingly powerful move that targets your hip flexor muscles, those hidden drivers that lift your thigh with every single step you take, but when they weaken with age, your walking pattern quietly changes into a dangerous shuffle where your feet barely clear the ground, dramatically increasing your chances of tripping over absolutely nothing and suffering a devastating fall that no one over 60 wants to risk. Have you started catching your toes on carpets or thresholds, noticing a shorter stride that makes walking feel less secure, or worrying more about losing your balance in everyday situations, fueling that deep fear of a fall stealing your freedom and landing you in the hospital or worse? The motivating reality backed by extensive research is that hip flexor weakness stands out as one of the strongest predictors of fall risk in older adults, with studies showing it directly contributes to reduced leg clearance, slower gait, and poorer stability. Yet simple seated hip marches can specifically strengthen these critical muscles far more effectively than regular walking, where the motion is too passive and low resistance to build the power needed for safe, confident steps, while targeted lifts mimic and amplify the stepping action to restore proper lift and reduce tripping hazards. Recent evidence confirms that exercises like seated marches improve hip flexor strength, enhance balance and coordination, support better walking ability, and play a key role in fall prevention programs proven to cut risk significantly in community-dwelling seniors, delivering safer mobility even for those with joint limitations. And let's face the stakes head-on because motivation matters. More than 1 in 4 adults over 65 falls every year according to the latest CDC data, leading to millions of injuries, with hip fractures particularly life-changing and carrying mortality risks around 20 to 30% in the first year depending on health factors. These aren't just statistics. They're wake-up calls that falls aren't inevitable. And strengthening your hip flexors is one of the most direct ways to fight back. To perform seated hip marches correctly and safely, scoot to the front edge of your sturdy chair so you're not leaning back. Keep your spine tall and core lightly engaged for stability. Now lift one knee toward your chest as high as comfortably possible without swinging or using momentum. Hold at the top for 2 full seconds, feeling the effort in the front of your hip. Then lower slowly and controlled before alternating to the other leg. Aiming for 20 total repetitions, 10 per side, if you're beginning, with 3 sets and a minute rest between. The slower and more deliberate you lift and lower, the greater the strength gains. Avoid rushing or leaning, and focus on pure muscle power for maximum benefit. To progress, extend the hold to 5 seconds or add light ankle weights once it feels easier. Orthopedic experts love this because it primes the muscles for faster recovery after joint issues, boosts core stability as you balance during lifts, and helps prevent the shuffling gait that turns minor obstacles into major threats. Imagine stepping with renewed assurance, clearing curbs and rugs effortlessly, and gaining real peace of mind against fall fears. Commit to daily marches and feel your confidence grow before we get to number 2, the overlooked pulling exercise that fights the hunched posture and back weakness, quietly eroding your daily strength and breathing ease. We're getting closer to the exercise surgeons call the absolute game changer for independent living. Number 2 is seated rows with a resistance band, the pulling movement that rebuilds the often forgotten back muscles responsible for everything from opening heavy doors and carrying shopping bags to simply sitting tall without that exhausting slouch. Because when these muscles weaken after 60, gravity starts pulling your shoulders forward into a permanent hunch that not only makes you look and feel older but quietly compresses your lungs, strains your neck with constant pain, shifts your balance forward to heighten fall risk, and turns simple daily tasks into draining struggles that chip away at your confidence and freedom. Have you caught yourself rounding forward more when sitting or standing, noticing chronic aches in your upper back or neck that weren't there before, or worrying that poor posture is making breathing feel shallower and movement less steady, fueling that quiet fear of looking frail or losing the strength to hug grandchildren tightly or manage household chores without help? The empowering truth supported by solid research is that weakened back muscles, your lats, rhomboids, and rear shoulders, are a primary driver of age-related kyphosis and postural decline, contributing to reduced lung capacity, increased pain, and higher instability. Yet targeted seated rowing exercises can powerfully strengthen this entire posterior chain far more effectively than walking, where arms just swing passively without any real pulling resistance to counter gravity's pull and rebuild the muscular support your spine desperately needs as you age. Recent studies confirm that resistance band rows significantly improve upper body strength, enhance posture alignment, reduce neck and back discomfort, and support better overall stability in older adults, with programs showing measurable spinal straightening and pain relief that passive cardio like walking alone rarely achieves, making it a favorite for joint-friendly progression even in those with limitations. To perform seated rows safely and with maximum impact, you'll need an inexpensive resistance band. Sit tall in your sturdy chair with feet flat and hip-width apart. Loop the band securely around your feet and hold an end in each hand with arms extended forward and slight tension already in the band. Now pull your elbows straight back while squeezing your shoulder blades together, as if pinching a pencil between them. Drawing your hands toward your lower ribs, hold that powerful squeeze for 2 full seconds, really feeling the burn between your blades. Then slowly extend your arms forward under control without letting the band snap back, aiming for 15 smooth repetitions if starting out and building to 3 sets. Choose a band strength where the last few reps feel challenging but doable. Focus on that deep blade squeeze and controlled release for the biggest gains in posture and pulling power, and once comfortable, upgrade to a stronger band or double it up for progression without joint stress. Orthopedic experts particularly prescribe this because strong back muscles act like natural guy wires holding your spine upright, protecting against degeneration, easing breathing, and restoring the upright confident stance many fear is lost forever. Imagine standing taller with less pain, moving through your day with renewed ease and energy. And if better posture and less back pain sound like exactly what you've been needing, quick tap that like button to help spread this to more seniors and make sure to subscribe for daily tips. Before we finally reveal number 1, the single most prescribed chair exercise that doubles as a proven longevity predictor and the one surgeons demand patients master for denser bones, stronger legs, and dramatically better outcomes against frailty. This brings us to the most powerful chair exercise of all, the one orthopedic surgeons prescribe more than any other because it's not just building strength, it's a proven predictor of longevity and independence, the one move that if mastered can dramatically lower your risk of frailty while actively fighting back against weakening bones and muscles that threaten your freedom as you age. Number 1 is sit-to-stand squats. The full-body functional powerhouse that engages virtually every major lower body muscle group at once, replicating the exact motion you perform dozens of times daily, like rising from bed, a chair, the car, or the bathroom, turning theoretical gym strength into real-life confidence, an ease that protects against the devastating falls and fractures so many seniors face. Have you found yourself hesitating before standing up from low seats, needing to push off armrests, or feeling unsteady during simple rises? Or deeply worrying that losing this basic ability could mean giving up your home, hobbies, or time with family because everyday movements become too risky or exhausting? The groundbreaking truth from landmark research is that your ability to perform unassisted sit-to-stand movements strongly predicts overall health outcomes and longevity. With studies on thousands of middle-aged and older adults showing those who struggle most with rising from a seated position face significantly higher risks of mobility decline and mortality compared to those who rise smoothly and powerfully. Yet consistent sit-to-stand training can rebuild this critical functional strength far beyond what walking provides, delivering comprehensive activation of quads, glutes, calves, core, and back for superior gains in daily performance, balance, and resilience against sarcopenia's muscle theft. To perform this with maximum safety and benefit, start seated in a sturdy chair with feet flat on the floor slightly wider than hip width for stability. Cross your arms over your chest to avoid arm assistance. Lean forward slightly, shifting weight over your feet. Now push firmly through your heels to stand fully tall with knees and hips straight. Pause at the top for 1 second, squeezing your glutes and thighs. Then lower slowly back down over a full 4 seconds, controlling every inch without plopping, gently touching the seat before immediately starting the next rep, because that eccentric lowering phase builds the most strength and bone-protecting power. If you're beginning or feel unsteady, use armrests initially or place hands on thighs for light support, aiming for 10 controlled repetitions if new, building to 3 sets of 15. Once manageable, add challenge by holding a light weight like a water jug at your chest, slowing the descent to 6 or 8 seconds, or hovering just above the seat without touching for extra intensity, all while keeping spine neutral and knees tracking over toes to protect joints. Orthopedic specialists prioritize this because it primes legs for better surgical outcomes if ever needed, dramatically eases arthritis stress by strengthening natural shock absorbers, and restores the effortless rises that make stairs, low furniture, and daily life feel vibrant again. Imagine moving with the assurance and energy you thought was lost, safeguarding your independence for years to come. There you have it. These 5 simple yet incredibly effective chair exercises are what top orthopedic surgeons now wish every senior over 60 would do consistently, because the overwhelming evidence shows targeted resistance training from your seat beats walking alone when it comes to halting muscle loss, building real functional power, strengthening bones, preventing devastating falls, and most importantly, keeping you independent, active, and enjoying the life you've worked so hard for. You don't need fancy equipment, a gym membership, or hours of time, just a sturdy chair, maybe a resistance band, and 15 minutes a few times a week to start turning back the clock on frailty and reclaim the vitality that sarcopenia and aging try to steal. Begin today with number 5 seated calf raises, master it over the next week, then add number 4, and keep progressing at your own comfortable pace. Your future self will thank you every time you rise from a chair with ease, climb stairs without hesitation, or hug your loved ones with strong, steady arms. We truly want to hear from you now. Which of these 5 chair exercises are you most excited to start first? And have you ever felt frustrated that years of walking still left you weaker or more unsteady than you expected? Thanks for watching. Until next